gorilla sightings in my neighborhood recently, and it just so happens I caught him on my security camera this morning. Check it out. I got him good. Now here's the problem. He stole my Switch 2, but I think I know why. Donkey Kong Bananza just came out on the Nintendo Switch 2, and from what people are saying, I'd be curious too. So this is actually perfect. I'll give you my review while I go hunt for this gorilla. I'm on a gorilla hunt. All right, let's go. Let's go find him. Donkey Kong Bananza is watering a drought that a lot of Nintendo fans had, and that's the fact that we've had no 3D Mario for the longest time. This is what we get instead. And with the very impressive sales that the 3D Mario games get, I'm actually surprised that they went with Donkey Kong instead of Mario in the first place. But anyways, they announced a Donkey Kong game, and you better believe I was excited to play it. In fact, I did get to play it a little bit early, at the Nintendo Switch 2 experience. My first impressions were not that grand. In fact, I had quite a few issues with it, and it seems like across the board, if people went to go play it early, they either really liked it or they had mixed feelings about it, and I was actually one of the mixed feelings people. But let me explain why. When I played the demo at the Nintendo Switch 2 experience, I really didn't love the lack of direction the demo had. It just didn't really seem like there was a goal. In fact, the Nintendo rep that was with me just said to smash stuff, so then I smashed stuff for 20 minutes, and that was about it. And sure, it was fun rolling around and smashing things, but again, with no story, no objective other than to find bananas, I really didn't know why I was playing. I also noticed some gameplay hitching with the frame rate, and I was confused because they were showing off how much more powerful the console was, so that didn't make sense to me. Where in the world am I? Needless to say, I think the Nintendo Switch 2 experience actually skewed my opinion on the game going into it. So the real question is, do I still feel the same way? Let's find out. But first, let's try to find this gorilla. Oh my goodness, he must be close. I think you know what that is. He's nearby. Let's get him. Anyways, I have Donkey Kong Bananza now, and after beating it and playing it for a lengthy amount of time after the credits rolled, no spoilers by the way, my goodness, I have a lot to say. So anyways, let's talk about the game now. It's game time. The game starts with Donkey Kong pulling a Steve from Minecraft and mining. The main mechanic in Donkey Kong Bananza is to completely destroy everything. This gives you pathways to new sections of the map, lets you find collectibles, and honestly, it's just fun and satisfying to do. Seriously, as I was just playing through the game, I'd get distracted by completely obliterating the world for no purpose other than because it felt good. Nintendo really knows how to manipulate my dopamine. Not only can you just destroy, but you can use the terrain to your advantage, like ripping a piece of it up and using it as a skateboard, and hurling pieces at enemies, or even just destroying more terrain with it. It's such a fine-tuned and thoughtful system that really helps expand the game with these mechanics. There are several puzzles throughout the game that uses terrain in creative ways. Of course, another staple in Donkey Kong Bananza is the collectibles. In classic Mario fashion, there's lots. Just like the moons in Mario Odyssey, this game has a ton of bananas. These are hidden around the world, some easier to find than others. There are also these challenge rooms that all reward you with bananas as well. These vary in difficulty, but usually require you to either destroy a number of enemies in a certain time frame or tackle some sort of puzzle, which is also a perfect time for me to mention the controls in this game. They're actually insane. It honestly feels like a more enhanced version of Odyssey when it comes to the movement. It's as tight as can be, and it feels like they really fine-tuned every little detail. You can roll to move faster, just like in Odyssey. You can jump out of a roll in midair like the classic DK games. The movement is just insane. It makes me want to move as well. Like this. I've stayed for too long beside this tree. We gotta go find the gorilla some more. You might also realize Donkey Kong isn't always a gorilla. That's right, he's more than that. With the Bananza transformations, they're crazy. He can turn into other animals, like a zebra to run fast, to run across the water, or even across crumbling terrain. Or there's an ostrich that lets Donkey Kong fly and glide. Not only that, but these Bananza abilities can be upgraded with a skill tree. Since when have Nintendo games had a skill tree in them? This is insane! That's right, after collecting 5 bananas, you get 1 skill point. The more skill points you have, the more powerful an ability is. And skill points aren't only for Bananza abilities. You can use them on your built-in abilities too, like your punching strength, or unlocking the ability to surf across the water. Tell me how that works. Like, seriously. This skill tree finally gives you a reason to collect bananas aside from just being able to say you 100% of the game. Unlike the moons in Mario Odyssey, there's actually a reward for you doing it. And same goes for other collectibles. You can also unlock costumes and dyes for DK's hair, which not only makes you look epic, but can give you abilities like increasing your chance to see a chest in the ground. And this makes me want to get all the fossils just to do that, because that's how you unlock the costumes. You have to find the fossils in the world. For my first playthrough, I went with regular brown DK because I'm a purist, but when I go back to 100%, you better believe I'll be the green boy. I like green Donkey Kong, but of course, I can't even go back and 100% it even if I wanted to, because I need to find that dang gorilla. Let's keep looking. So there we go. Controls and gameplay go hard. So I think it's perfect time to look at the game gauge. I have an announcement to make. That's right, an announcement. You see, on this channel, I've been doing reviews kind of like a lame guy. I've been pretty lame, but now I'm introducing a brand new way that we review games on the Russ Vandy channel, which I'm calling the game gauge. Here it is. Everyone watch out, because here it comes. This is now how I'll be reviewing solo games from now on. If I got a whole video about it, we'll be using the game gauge. Do you like the name? It actually took me a while to come up with it, so let me know what you think about the game gauge down in the comments. This could be the last time we see it, but if you like the game gauge, we'll keep it. As I go through the review, we'll be checking in on this game gauge to see if it goes up or maybe even down sometimes, depending on how I rank it and what I say. At the end, it'll land on a number between 1 and 10, and that will be my official ranking. Let's see where we land. Wow, that's valid. I agree with the game gauge. Now, when it comes to the difficulty in Donkey Kong Bananza, if you're a little baby who's new to gaming, I think you could still get through it for the most part. It does get a little tough in some areas, especially near the end and after the end, but it's definitely accessible. In fact, they even have an assist mode for the ultra babies out there. No shame in that, but now I think it's time for my next trap for the gorilla. The lure. I'm gonna lure him in with banana chips and beaver nuggets from Buc-ee's. That's right. I love Buc-ee's, and I'm sure gorillas do too. Let's set up this trap. Oh my gosh. I think, there he is. There he is. I see him. Oh, I got it. We lost him. He was too speedy. We almost got him. Don't worry though, my plan to catch him isn't over yet. Let's continue the review. I think it's time we talk about the graphics. Because of the Switch 2's better hardware, games can just be bigger, and we can see that especially with the graphics. You can see they really went all out. Now with Mario Odyssey, I think that game looks fantastic on Switch 1. Seriously, it's incredibly impressive that they got such a good looking game running smoothly on that console. But with Bananza, my goodness, the graphics are amazing. It's got that classic Nintendo look, but just a lot bigger, with a lot of subtle additions, like the increased foliage, large-scale environments, and even the lighting. In fact, the development team showed how it would look if it did run on the Switch 1 compared to the Switch 2, and it's a big difference. It's visually stunning, and the overall art style and design of the game really adds to it. The sharp resolution made me happy. I'm still not really used to it as a Nintendo Switch owner. My only tiny thing I noticed was that the lighting made Donkey Kong look red a lot of the time. My boy is brown, not red. Can also just say how satisfying it looks with all the debris and the stone flying around. This stimulated me. But first, I have another plan to catch the gorilla. Give me a second. Banana costume. That's right, I got a banana costume to try and lure him closer to me. It's the perfect time now to talk about the performance. This is definitely one of the biggest issues I had with this game. 99% of the time it ran at a smooth 60 frames per second, and even in really graphically intense places, it managed to hold there. But there's a surprising amount of hitching in the frame rate still, a little more than I expected. You can count on almost every cutscene to get a little bit shaky. And there are moments where there's lots happening on screen, and if there is lots of smashing and breaking, the frame rate can dip pretty low for a few seconds. Now, I'm being pretty nitpicky here, but it was definitely noticeable, and that's as technical as I'm getting. I'm a banana, so I'm gonna split. All right, let's keep going. Audio. The sound effects are nice and loud, so that's good, but the music is instantly iconic. Every world has its own hit tracks, and they're so perfect for the area you're playing in. If you're in a cave, the music might sound very eerie. If you're literally underground, the music will sound muffled, as if you're actually under the surface. Trust me, it's accurate. I put my head under objects all the time. There are even some faithfully recreated bangers from previous Donkey Kong games, and my goodness, they go hard. Now, one theme of the game in general is the music. Colleen, who's on your back the entire game, is literally activating Donkey Kong's Bananza abilities with her voice, and each Bananza ability has has its own song that plays while a certain animal is active. Special shout out to Zebra Bonanza, that one goes hard. So for me, the audio, that's a perfect score. And we can prove that right now by looking at the game gauge. Ayo! Now I think something we need to talk about is the story and writing, because my goodness, I did not expect this in a Nintendo game. Clearly my expectations from Nintendo are very low. The basic plot is that Donkey Kong and Pauline need to reach the planet's core to get Pauline back to the surface where she came from, and so that Donkey Kong can get some bananas. I'm serious, that's what it is. And I should also mention that this whole game takes place underground, even though it doesn't always seem like it. Anyways, that's the goal. I really like the premise, but just like the typical Mario game, there aren't really many twists and turns throughout most of the gameplay. The story stays pretty stagnant for most of the game up until the end. Even at the beginning, I feel like they probably could have had a better opening. Donkey Kong and Pauline just kind of started adventuring together. It's still more story than us Mario fans are used to, and I gotta give it some credit for that. I also just think the dynamic between a kid and a massive gorilla is unmatched. It's given me major Wreck-It Ralph vibes, especially with those fists. Look at him. I also have to give props for the fully voice-acted Pauline. It really does add to the quality of this game, and her performance was really good, actually. That being said, making a story about Donkey Kong and a character we already know, like Pauline, definitely made me much more attached and invested from the start. Mario Odyssey, for example, tried to get us invested in Cappy's story, but his character wasn't really that entertaining. He was new, unlike these developed characters we already know. Just the fact that we know Pauline and Donkey Kong makes any story infinitely better than a random new character. I think for a Nintendo game, it's a very fun and intense story, and the music Pauline sings is a tearjerker. Or maybe I'm just a baby, who knows. I think also now's a great time to bring up Donkey Kong's design. At first, oh my goodness gracious, a bug. At first I wasn't sure, but it's really grown on me. Especially with the vast catalog of expressions my guy has now, experiencing it through this game really made me appreciate this change. And I'm kind of glad they switched up his design. All right, story and writing, game gauge. That's accurate, I like it. We gotta get the drone out. I think that's the only way I can search him down and find him. Let's send this puppy. Drat. I crashed it into a bush. Now, the value. With Nintendo Switch 2 games, value has been definitely a topic that people have brought up lots. So let's discuss it in Donkey Kong Bananza form. Donkey Kong Bananza is priced at $70, which puts it up there with the other big AAA games. I know, it's kind of crazy, but honestly, it's actually warranted. I know. I think that's expensive, but at least it's not $80 like Mario Kart World, which, by the way, is even more insane now that this game is out. I'm gonna say it, Donkey Kong Bananza is better than Mario Kart World, especially for the price. And I'd honestly probably say that if they are both priced at $70. At least right now, from a single player point of view. I know Mario Kart will hopefully get years of updates and eventually prove the price point, but at launch, Donkey Kong has so much more content it's not even funny. And the replayability is amazing. Even after I beat the main story, there are still hours and hours of game left for me to enjoy. Whether that's completing new, harder levels that get unlocked, going back and cleaning up all those collectibles I missed, unlocking costumes, and just going for 100%. There's just so much here. If you have a Switch 2 or are planning to get one, this is definitely a must buy. All right, Game Gauge, what's your final ranking? 9.8? That's actually accurate. Wait, there's an amiibo too. 9.9! I'll take it. Oh, I think I see him. Bro is actually sleeping right now. I literally see my Switch 2. I'm gonna go get it. Uh-oh. Stop! We're breaking through, down to the core. No stopping us, not anymore. I got my Switch! Well, that was quite an adventure. Consider liking and subscribing. And hey, look at all these names. If you want your name at the end of the video and some epic perks, consider joining them. First link in the description. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. See you later.